Hi, I'm Rocco Stano, and welcome to Storymakers. Today we have Caron Levis with us. Welcome, Caron, to Storymakers. I am so excited to meet you because I love your book, This Way, Charlie, and I'm so happy that we're able to talk about it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, no, my pleasure. But before we talk about the book, you're Caron with a C.
I am Caron with a C.
It's C-A-R-O-N.
Yep.
And yes, now, so growing up, have you met many Carons spelled that way?
Not that many. I have now that I'm a grown-up and I've met more people. I've met a few, but not a lot. Usually people spell it with a K.
Yes, and is there like a story from your mom about Caron?
There are two stories, one's from mom, one's from dad, and I usually pick the one that my father says that it was the actress Leslie Caron that inspired it. Yes. And she's a wonderful actress, so I like that story.
I like that story too. Go with that story.
I will.
And speaking of stories, tell us about the story of This Way, Charlie.
I'd love to, thanks. I'm so excited to share this book. So This Way, Charlie, the book is actually inspired by a real story. So I'm going to tell you the story that's in the book, and then I'll tell you a little bit about how the real story that inspired it. So in This Way, Charlie, Jack is a goat. He's right here. And he's a goat, and he lives in a place called Open Bud Ranch. And Open Bud Ranch is a place where animals can come if they're sick or injured or just need a place to live for a little while. And he's been there for a while, and it's a very friendly place, but Jack has not yet made friends because he gets a little nervous when things are crowded or too loud or too close to him. So he kind of keeps by himself, and all the animals know this. Until one day, a new horse arrives. This horse is named Charlie, and he's right there. And Charlie has come to Open Bud Ranch to have some time and space to get used to a change in his body. He is losing his eyesight, he is going blind, and so he needs some time to get used to this change. And so that's why he's there, and it's also why he doesn't actually see Jack when he arrives, and he bumps right into him, which is something that Jack does not like very much. And so he stays away from Charlie for a little while. But what happens is he starts to notice that Charlie is actually very gentle and friendly, and one day he decides to be really brave, and he invites Charlie to come visit his favorite place at the ranch. And so they start this friendship. The thing is, they're both dealing with some challenges of their own. Charlie is getting used to the change in his body, and Jack is getting used to making friends. So they have some bumps along the way, and so the story sort of shows how they help each other and get through it.
And so that's the story in the book.
Yes.
And you said that it comes from something in real life?
Yeah, so I use my imagination to add a lot of things and make this up, but I was inspired by the real story, and the real story is that there's a place called Wild Heart Ranch in Oklahoma that takes in animals who need a little help and care, and Charlie, the horse, arrived, and he really was losing his eyesight, and the people at the ranch were a little worried about how he'd find his way, and one day Jack, the goat, just decided to be his friend, and he started leading him back and forth every day, and they became really close, and they were friends for 16 years.
Really? How did you come across that story in Oklahoma?
I saw it actually on the news as a small little clip one day.
Really?
Yeah.
This story, as you said, is based on something that really happened. And one of your earlier books, Ida Always, actually was a similar type of story, right? About two animals who were friends.
Yes, they're both inspired by real animal friendships, which is something that I think is really important because both stories show that animals are they have friendships and relationships and feelings a lot like people do. And I thought that was really important. And then both times they reminded me of friendship. So in Ida Always, it's two longtime friends who are facing one really big challenge together. And then in this book, it's two friends who are just starting to be friends, and they're helping each other through their own individual challenges.
The creation of the book, you wrote the story, but in a picture book, it's a collaboration because there's the illustrator. And tell us about the illustrator.
Yes. Charles Santoso is a marvelous illustrator. He's incredibly talented, and he is the way he got the feelings and the emotions, and he does a lot of beautiful things. He told me that with this book, he really thought about wind and air a lot. And so Charles asked me to share this one because this was the hardest one for him to work on. So what a lot of people don't know is that both the writer and the illustrator, we try lots and lots of different ways for the story. And so Charles wanted, this is a really important part of the story. This is when Charlie the horse, he had come to the ranch not able to see out of one eye, and then about halfway, he can't see out of either of his eyes. And so the friends have to work together to find a new way to walk together. And so Charles very generously gave us some of his drafts so I can give people a peek at what he did before.
So the different steps that Charles took to actually come up with this final illustration.
Yeah, the different ways he tried. And one way felt, he said, not strong enough. Another way felt like it was too much. And then he found something that was sort of in the middle. And actually what he did here was interesting too. He used the middle of the book to tell part of the story. And all books have parts, like we have body parts. And this is this is called the gutter. And so you can see that he had the horse be halfway, and that's a pretty tricky thing to do from what I understand.
Right.
So Charles Santoso really works really hard, and it's not always the first try.
Right.
So I always like to tell that because it takes a lot of tries to get something that you maybe feel really proud of.
Is it fair to call Jack a seeing eye goat? After Charlie loses his eyesight and is blind, he helps Charlie find his way. And just like dogs help blind adults and children find their way. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. He noticed, he was observing, and he noticed that Charlie wanted to explore the ranch, but he couldn't figure out exactly where to go. And so he just says, "This way, Charlie," one day, and he figures out. And so he pays really close.
Excuse me. He says what?
"This way, Charlie."
Oh.
And in this scene, he's really being careful about and finding out what his friend needs for help, right? And so what I liked about the story is that I've seen kids in my own life, friends are always helping each other in different ways. And so here, Jack is also learning about being a friend, and so it's a special moment for him too.
So in writing the book, did you visit farms and meet horses and goats?
I didn't purposely go, but I have been because I like to do that. So I've been to a couple, and I did a lot of looking at pictures and reading about different sanctuaries and animals that are there and for the different reasons. I read a lot about different kinds of goats and why different animals come to these really special places.
And it just so happened that you and I had an experience right prior to sitting down here that we actually visited some goats that were here in the Kidlit TV neighborhood.
That was so exciting.
Yes.
Friends, you're not going to believe it. Yeah, it was really exciting. There were really goats.
And we have some photos, and you know, here's one photo of the two goats. And
yeah, one was named Jason and one was named Freddie.
Yes, and they were taking a look at This Way, Charlie, and what do you think?
I got to share it with them, and I think they were interested, and they gave it a little nibble, and I think they decided it was delicious.
It was interesting also because they were rescue goats.
Yeah, they were rescue goats, and in the story, I kind of give Jack a little bit, that he has come from a different place that wasn't as nice and wasn't as kind as Open Bud Ranch is. And so it's really important that now he's in a place where he can really learn how to trust everyone around him and relax. And that is what those goats we met today, it seemed like, have done. Yeah.
Right. But there is one illustration of Jack that shows his emotion.
Yeah,
Let's share that one.
This is a really important part of the book for me when I wrote it. So Jack is having a lot of really big feelings here. as I said, it's been hard for him to make friends. Charlie's his first friend. And then what happens is Charlie gets excited and sort of suggests that they go hang out with the other animals at the farm. And Jack is not ready yet. And so he has a lot of big feelings, like he's feeling nervous, he's feeling scared, he's feeling upset, and he gets really mad, and he says something that's not very nice to Charlie. And this was so important to me because I remember feeling when I was a kid, and sometimes I might accidentally say something to somebody I loved very much that wasn't nice because I was having really big feelings and I didn't know what to do with them. So that happens to Jack here, and then we see how they kind of are able to come back together and explore things. Yeah.
Right.
So he's having a lot of big feelings, and big feelings is something I really like to think about when I'm writing and also when I'm visiting schools and things like that, and for myself. So a different part in the book, Jack is actually having a lot of nervous feelings, and he needs to be brave, and he does something that helps him that I thought maybe I could show you.
Right, and what was that?
I'm going to show you really quickly. That it's when he's making friends for the first time. He's decided that he wants to become friends with Charlie, but he needs to feel brave. So he goes over to his favorite honeysuckles, that he loves that scent,
So
and
what
he
is,
takes a deep breath in.
What is honeysuckle?
Honeysuckle is a flower and has a very strong scent smell. And it's actually one that I knew as a kid and was something I really liked the way it smells, and it makes me feel peaceful the way it does Jack. So can I teach you how to make a breath like Jack?
Sure.
All right.
I just so happen to have some honeysuckle. Is there one
Wonderful.
for each of us?
Thanks. So, what I do is I make sure I'm sitting steady in my chair, so it's comfortable, and just notice that your body's in the chair, and then you can put one hand on your tummy, if that's okay, and you can either close your eyes or just take a look at the honeysuckle. And just so you know, usually I'm using my imagination. I don't really have a flower, but we wanted to have one for you today, Rocco.
Wow.
And so then what you can do is you can imagine a smell that makes you feel really good, like the honeysuckle smell, and you're going to breathe in through your nose, let your belly fill up, and then let it out. And you're going to do it one more time. Breathe in through your nose, and think of the word brave as you breathe out. Just notice what that does to your body. And then you can just open your eyes and you can let your breath go back, because your breath is always there to help you.
Right.
And it's a way that you can kind of steady your body and make you feel a little braver.
I feel better already.
Thank you for doing that with me. I do that all the time. And it's especially helpful if you want to, like Jack did, make a new friend. I would love to show you kind of a game, a little acting game that I play when I visit schools, or that I do for myself when I want to practice something that feels like it's going to be hard, like making a new friend. So the first thing you do is choose your characters, and if it's okay with you, today I would love you to be Charlie, and I will be Jack, and we'll just be people versions of that for today, so you don't have to worry about acting like the animal. And then
I was hoping to do that.
We could do that another time. All right, so then we pick a setting. So for today, let's say we're in sort of a park, a field.
A field, yeah.
And so you are going to be Charlie, and your job is to act like you're doing something in the field, like picking flowers.
Yeah,
is that
strolling,
something?
yeah, wildflowers, yes,
Yeah. So you can just kind of be looking, or however you want to act that out from your seat of flowers. And my job is going to be I don't know you, and then my job is to come and make friends with you. Now, how do you make a friend? Luckily, I have some students who I've met who've given me some advice about how to do that. And so with their advice, they said I could tell my name and ask your name. I could ask you something that you like to do or tell you something I like to do. So I used the advice from the kids that I've met, and I made us a little script. So that's for you. And so my job, now the only thing is you can't use the script until I've done my job and tried to make a friend. Okay. All right. So at home, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and you can say action with me, and that's when you'll start kind of doing your acting. With the flowers.
And I've been acting the whole time.
Well, you can start now. Yeah. Ready? 1, 2, 3, action. Oh, but friends, this is the thing. I'm supposed to come over here and make friends with Charlie, but I'm feeling too nervous and I don't know what to do. So luckily I have some advice from friends, some other advice who gave me some advice of what to do if I'm nervous. I can take a deep breath from honeysuckles. I can draw the sun with my hands. I can imagine my favorite sports team scoring. So I'm gonna pick one of those ideas and try and calm myself down so we can do our scene.
Great.
Okay, I'm going to maybe take a breath and draw the sun. And I feel a little braver. Okay. Hi, my name is Jack. What's your name?
My name's Charlie.
Hi, Charlie. What are you doing right now?
Well, I am picking some wildflowers.
I
really like these. Aren't they pretty?
Oh, those are really pretty. What color do you like?
Well, I like yellow.
Oh, nice. I like picking flowers too. And actually, there's a spot that has a lot of really good ones. Would you like to come look at them with me?
Sure, let's go.
Great.
Well, now, this is great that we are now friends, Caron, with a C. Thank you for coming to Kid Lit TV and sharing this way, Charlie.
Thank you for having me and letting me practice making a new friend.
Well, thank you. So remember, until next time, read a book in any format.